Dr. Hagai, the chairman of this group, and Dr. Wagner asked me to make the conclusions of the day and to close this session and this conference which we have had over the past 2 days, and I have agreed and volunteered today that I will try to do that. You have heard that there are desires which have been voiced by speakers, have come up in the discussion to change, to include, to refocus, to redirect the Declaration of Taipei, and that is something which certainly the work group is being tasked with and will do and discuss, but it will be a discussion which will continue, and it needs structure, input, which part of you are giving, consideration, editing, and redrafting. Now, in the history of medicine, health data, especially in the 20th century, has been abused. And some of those abuses, I'm not talking to the references which have been given here in some of the slides, but some of those abuses have been extremely severe. Some of the experiments in which samples have been made have been actually become the starting point of the World Medical Association. The abuse of medicine and experimentation during the Third Reich in my own country, but also the abuse of data, health data, in authoritarian and dictatorial regimes, which have been going on for a long time and probably are still going on in many countries of this world. The abuse of data, the potential abuse of data, but also the potential abuse of specimen and biobanks make it necessary that we position our role in the process of providing data to data banks and specimens to biobanks. There is a need for us to reflect about the ethical principles that we have to obey to, wish to obey to, and to safeguard the interests of our patients and all those who are donating data or specimen into such institutions. To be fair and to be clear, the amount of risks which we are seeing is certainly smaller than that of classical experimentation involving human beings. Nobody cuts, nobody injects some things, nobody takes a medicine that potentially is dangerous. Nevertheless, we already have, with our previous work on databases and biobanks and the Declaration of Taipei in 2016, clearly said that we see the potential for these dangers, and I have given you some of the big political derailments which we have seen with that. But we also have seen in this conference very clear the complexity, the difficulties, the problems that we see. We have heard about data quality, which is distorted by biases, by mistakes we do in sampling data in our day-to-day activity as physicians with patients and societies. We have seen that the question of the use and the use scenarios which we have discussed over the past 2 days is very wide and far beyond, reaches beyond the realm of research or only experimentation into many other issues of our social life, of administration, of commerce, and politics. We have heard about the problem of de-identification and re-identification, of anonymity. We have very much focused in these 2 days on the question of keeping privacy and anonymity or de-identification. On the other hand, let's also face that the expectations of many of the people giving data is not to be de-identified, but to be identified and to learn about your own situation. So this is a two-way road. It's not a one-way road, which we also have to keep in mind. We have spoken about the question of ownership and use of the data. And the ownership, we have seen pretty much opposition views in there. There is on one side, in my country for instance, a constitutional right of your ownership of data. It's clearly fixed. There's no discussion about that. You own your health data, period. But there is also the expectation that it is part of a common good, with good reasons, I think. And the question is, how can we bridge this? And this is, in my understanding, a damn difficult question. Leah has given some answers to that already, but I think it really needs a lot of our consideration. We have a complexity that we are dealing with, a complexity which probably does not allow us to have an ideal method of consent. Some have been mentioned in the last slide here, the dynamic consent, but I know that there are scholars who tell us that the dynamic consent is not the answer to that. We will have to discuss this in another session that we will do later this year. On the other hand, the complexity is at the same time the basis for the machine learning, for artificial intelligence. And then again, the complexity may turn around our paradigms of doing research. It may turn induction to deduction and deduction into induction. Think about GPT-3, which, without being asked, learned itself another language, or Palm. GPT-3 learned Welsh, I think it was, without being asked to learn this language and to be able to translate it. And Palm by Google was, I apologize, and Google learned Bengali without being asked, the Palm model learned Bengali without being asked to do that. So what we will see is we will receive answers to questions we have not asked, which may give another dimension to the question of identification and de-identification, which we have absolutely not on our radar yet. This all leads, of course, to questions of, can we really technically contain this? Should we? And is it a part of the Declaration of Taipei to say how to do that? I have my serious doubts. One of the questions you have on your screen before. I think that is something that we, as physicians, really cannot solve alone. It is a problem that needs a lot of technical, mathematical experience in doing this. Are methods like differential privacy, k-anonymity, obfuscation, are those tools which can help us out of this dilemma? I cannot give you the answer. And I think it is a long discussion that we still have to do that. Is it helpful to have, we discussed this during the 2 days, is it helpful to keep data local and apply federated models? Are they then applicable for other places in this world? Can they help? We have the problem of being stuck into legal and ethical frameworks and systems, but we also have learned that our research, think about multinational clinical trials, our research is already international. And yet the application of AI may even demand more of this internationality in order to get benefit out of this. So we have really a truckload of problems which we have to deal with this declaration. And the question which we really have to answer and will answer in this group is, how much go we into granularity to deal with those complexities, or how much do we stay on a principle level? And yes, we are fascinated now by AI. But let's face it, this was a very short time that we stumbled into it, and we do not know what is around the next corner. Coming with quantum computer, what will be the options then? What will be the reactions then? We don't know. The answer in the WMA so far has been, well, we focus on our principles. And we want to make sure that our principles are being observed in those different situations. And maybe that is also the answer which we have followed and may follow with the DOT. The work group will provide us answers to those questions, hopefully, and we'll come back to that. So it stays with me and rests with me on behalf of Dr. Hagai to thank you, to thank the speakers and experts which have helped us to make this symposium possible, to you, the audience, to be with us, to discuss with us, and to stay for this time. Thank you for your endurance and for your participation here. I would like to thank the teams here at the Paulista Medical Associations and the Brazilian Medical Association for making this possible and for working so diligently with us. I would like to thank the interpreters who have given us a voice to be heard and to be able to speak with each other. I would like to thank the presidents of the Brazilian Medical Association and the president of the Paulista Medical Association hosting us here in his house in Sao Paulo. I have stopped counting how many meetings we have had in this building already, but it's by far not the first, I can tell you. I would like to thank our past presidents who have been with us. Dr. Miguel Jorge, who is still with us. Thank you very much, Miguel, for being with us and also for presenting, but also José Luis Gómez do Amaral, who is continuously supporting the World Medical Association. And I would like to thank our chairman, who has come to this meeting and being with us to discuss the development of the Declaration of Taipei. A big thanks goes to the team at the Israel Medical Association. I feel very sorry that they are in this dire situation right now and to run for shelter every once in a moment. I would like to mention not only the chair of the work group, Dr. Zion Hagai and Lea Wapner, but also I would like to mention Malka Boros at the legal department of the Israel Medical Association, who is strongly involved in the development. And finally, I would like to thank here Dr. Carlos Serrano for making this possible, for inviting us here. And he has been supported by, I mentioned already, the teams here and at the Brazilian Medical Association by three persons which I think need mentioning expressively. That is Michelle Glickin from the Israel Medical Association, who is with us, Claudia Leiter from the Brazilian Medical Association, and Sunny Park at the Office of the World Medical Association. Thank you for that. Last but not least, I'm asked to make an announcement, a housekeeping announcement. For those who are part of the work group and participate in the work group meeting, please go up straight to the 11th floor. There will be a working lunch, and we will be sitting up there and trying to digest not only the food, but also the results of this meeting. For all the others, we invite you to have a lunch as we have used it before. And for those who are signed up to the tour tomorrow, we will start, I forgot the time, 9:30? 9:15. Okay, the buses is leaving 9:15, so be there between 9 and 9:15 tomorrow morning. Thank you very much. You want to take a picture? Okay. Oh, yeah.